hinges, 72 Olds. And I'll bet you the motherfuckers probably need hinge pins to make them work. Because if we use them like they are, the doors will probably sag. So we're back on our 72 Olds now. I put it in primer. I'm not going to pull it out. I'm not fucking pulling it outside so we can do a walk around to see it in primer. First of all, we got 2 fucking flats on the front that probably hold air for less than 5 minutes. And for me to pull the car outside would take about 30 fucking minutes just so we can walk around it and look at it in primer. Let's go ahead and look at it, walk around in primer while it's sitting in here. Can we do that? Can we go ahead and fucking do that? You can see that the primer has been applied. All the bodywork is 99% done. Now when I say 99% done, once I primed the car after doing all the bodywork, we found minor imperfections that have showed up, kind of like this ridge right here. We're gonna have to build that up, fix that problem. I also have a few problems in this area right in here and over on the other side. And you probably won't see it, but there's actually like a little ridge where my block sander hit it and put a groove in it right in here. And yeah, everything came out really, really nice for our first go around on bodywork and reprime. And I'm really, really happy with it. This quarter panel, of course, was replaced. Big fucking job. They actually did a half-assed decent job on replacing that quarter panel. I didn't really like the way they replaced it up in here though. They should have went ahead and went all the way up into the sail panel with the quarter panel. Doing it down in this area here kind of fucks up the situation, and it's really, really hard to get the body lines and everything perfectly straight. But we did the best we can do, and I think it's gonna look really nice. So basically what we're working on now is we are gonna go ahead and hang the doors on the car. The reason we're hanging the doors on the car is basically because of that fucking quarter panel right there. Did they replace the quarter panel with the door on the car, or did they do it with the door off the car? We don't fucking know. But this is a procedure that's really, really important to get all the body lines straight, is we have to go ahead and hang the doors and possibly hang the fenders as well. This is our culprit right now. This is the situation we have. When we found out that that quarter panel was replaced, we found out that all that section right in there is part of the quarter panel, and if they didn't replace that quarter panel when we hung the door on there, we might be fucked. So Daryl brings all this shit over, and I told Daryl, I said, look dude, you need to take all that shit back. You need to go ahead and take it back, put it in your fucking storage or whatever you're gonna do with it, because I don't have fucking room to keep all the shit. You know, this is a type of a buddy deal from me to Daryl to finish this fucking car out. This is something that I wanted to do to help him. You understand what I'm saying? Shouldn't have took the fucking job on in the first place. I got too much fucking work as it is right now. Finishing up on our fucking Chevelle, all right? This is a fucking job. This is a big fucking job. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Because we have now canceled painting this car. We're not gonna paint it right now. That's gonna have to be down the line. The only thing we're doing now is getting this motherfucker running so it can get out of my fucking shop. Then the owner will save his money and come back at some other fucking time. So that's basically what I did yesterday for 4.5 fucking hours on a Saturday in 120 degree weather, is I went ahead and dismantled everything that needs sandblasted for our Chevelle. So you can see that this has to be sandblasted, and once it's sandblasted, then I gotta bring it back and go ahead and paint it and then put all that together. And if you've never put a core support / grill headlight assembly together on a 66 Chevelle, go ahead and try it once. And hopefully you'll have better luck and get it done faster than my fucking did. And then of course, when we come over on this side of the shop, we got the infamous 1969 Mach 1 fucking Mustang that's been at my friend Pete's shop for going on 6 fucking years. And I just got done, here's a good example as far as doors go. I just got done hanging the doors back on this car and getting these fenders hung on so I can strip them down and do all the body work. The reason I did that is I want to make sure all these fucking body lines and everything's gonna line up first before we go fucking with it. And here's a prime example. You can see that this is a different fender, different color. I had to find a used fender because some Nimrod that actually restored this car before used a 1970 fender on this side to replace the 69, and the headlight bucket does not work from 69 to 70. It's 2 different fucking headlight buckets, so they cut the fucking fender out for that fucking bucket to fit on there and chopped it up. And then on a 70 model, the marker lights are in this area right here, so instead of going ahead and welding that up, they went ahead and cut a fucking hole out on this fender to match the 70 model fender and put a marker light in it, which I had to fucking weld up. And then of course the bottom of the fender was fucking busted right here, and they had this hokey pokey bullshit going. So I spent a week on this fucking fender welding shit together so I can do bodywork to it. Because some Nimrod decided to use a 70 model fucking fender and half-ass his way down the fucking road. I'm the motherfucker that fixed it, bitch! So as you can see, being an in and out paint ready car, not being that of any shape, way or form, has really put me in a bad fucking position. I was opening up this box looking at these hinges, and I'm hoping and praying to God that these hinges are in good shape. Now, what we're looking at here, and I can already tell you that these are gonna need to be replaced. If you look right in this area here, let me get that. I don't know if you can see that. That's a bushing. That's a hinge pinch bushing, and then look at it real close where it's cracked. Okay, and then the upper one, it's in pretty good shape, but not that good a fucking shape. But this is where all the weight is on the bottom bushing, and we see that that bushing is cracked and fucked up, and they're gonna need replaced. What about this one here? Okay, here's a good example. Look real close right in this area right here where my finger is as I move the hinge. You can see it and hear it, and you can see that that's a shitty fucking situation for my friend Pete. Now it's turning out to be a total restoration job that I don't fucking have time for. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and hang these doors. I want to let everybody know something here, that if you're restoring a fucking car like this, because a lot of you guys are watching this video set because you're restoring a car. You're restoring a car and you're trying to get tech tips and tricks and helpful hints and do-it-yourself shit. Well, here's a good fucking DIY fucking little situation right here. Do not, I'm going to repeat again, do not remove that door hinge off of this door jamb. Unless you have to replace that door hinge pillar, do not remove it off of the fucking car. Always remove the doors either from removing the door or removing the hinge pin. Speaking of hinge pins, let me show you this hinge pin. Alright, look at this fucking operation these guys got going here with this shit to make it work. Now, I'm thinking that this might be a door hinge pin that is original, but it finally gave way and lost its bushings and became very, very poor. This isn't actually the door hinge though. This is actually a stopper pin. Okay, do you see that right there? That's what stops it. So we're not really worried about that. I'm just pissed off and getting confused here because of the situation we got going on with all this fucking crap that was supposed to be not my fucking business, is what the fuck it's supposed to be. So we're going to go ahead and install the hinges and doors on there. Now the reason I'm doing that is to get it basically half-ass lined up. And then once we do that, I want to show you what I found over here, over at our local auto parts store. They actually sell the hinge pins and bushings repair kit, which fits all of the 70s model GM fucking vehicles. It's the same hinge pin. So we got lucky on that. We got our hinge pins. We got our hinges. Now let's go get our fucking doors. So as we're walking out to the trailer, I want to let everybody know that when we see these doors and fenders and everything else that we're getting out, that the bodywork on these were done actually a year ago, because that's basically what I got first before I got the car over here. I got the all the body parts and ended up having to do bodywork on all them fucking things as well. So they've been stored back here in our trailer, and that's basically where we're headed, out to the parts bin to get our parts out of the trailer. So let's go ahead and get up in there and see if we can get these doors out of here. And hopefully we won't get bit by any snakes or rats in our parts trailer. And here's the door right here. This is the one we want. This is our right-hand door. That's what we're working on. So we really want to be careful with these, because once again, I've actually already done all the body work to it, and I see that the inside of the doors really haven't been prepped. We got to do that now. We got to prep the fucking inside of the doors. Thank you for showing me that today. That's really fucking great. So you can basically see where we're standing on this, that I actually started on this last year, and we're just now getting to it. Because this job right here that we're working on now, keep in mind, was supposed to be a paint-ready fucking job. Well, you can basically visualize what the fuck's going on now. It's not fucking paint-ready. So let's just kind of get past the anxiety attacks and all the other shit, and let's see if we can actually get this fucking car done and down the road. We've been getting pissed off at this thing every fucking day, and it's just a worn out situation. Now that I'm looking at this door, I remember these door skins were replaced. Somebody put brand new door skins on them and didn't do all the body work that it takes when you do that. And I had to redo, or I should say I had to do all the body work around the edges of it, because when you put door skins on these old cars, you're always going to have some type of body work around the edges. And yeah, that's what I had to do to these doors right here. So the first thing we're going to do before we even try to hang the doors is we want to go ahead and clean these threads out. And they actually make thread chasers, but we're not using that. I can't afford that, and what I'm going to use is a tap. Okay, this is a tap, 5/16 by, what is it, 20 or 18, whatever, tap. We're going to go ahead and tap those out, clean the threads out, using a little squirt WD-40 along the way, penetration, and clean those out, and then we'll loosely mount the hinges onto the door itself. Now, another problem I just ran into is that we got our bolts here that says hinge bolts 72 Olds, but the problem we have, there's only 12 of them here, and we actually need 24. So now we're going to have to search and seizure some nuts and bolts to use on our fucking door to mount the other door. So we're going to start with this one and see where it leads us, because whoever did this didn't even fucking give us enough nuts and bolts and washers and shit to actually hang the fucking door right. Or should I say both of them? There's only enough here for one.
It's a cocksucker. It's a son of a bitch motherfucking cocksucker's what it is, because it's a son of a bitch. It's like a fucking bastard.
So what I did is I squirted some WD-40 on my tap over here, and now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and chase the threads on that and make sure that they're clean of rust and ruin very quickly, like, and I see that one there is in good shape. But as I'm doing this, you can see all the play in these hinge plates. This is why you don't want to remove the hinge from the body, and you just want to take it from the door only, due to this fact right here, see? So lining these back up is really going to be kind of a bitch. But it's not the first merry-go-round that my friend Pete, SWRC Clown Shop, has been on this deal. So I'm sure that the Ferris wheel will give us a good ride and hopefully get these things back in order. Like I said, it would have been a lot better if we would have been able to just slide the doors up on there and bolt the doors on, or actually leave all the hinges on there as they were and replace the hinges while the hinge pins while the hinges were in place. That's even better to do, is if you have your doors on and your hinge pins need replaced, remove your doors and leave all the hinges where they're at. Just put new hinge pins on them after you get done painting it. But this here mess kind of fucked us up, so yeah. And I see everything's lining up good now, so we'll go ahead and mount our hinge onto the door. Okay, do we have the wrong fucking hinge here? Okay, I just fucked up, alright? I just fucked up. This is actually our top hinge, and that's our bottom hinge. So now I gotta take this off and fucking swap them around. Alright, we got our hinges on. What I did to compensate for my nuts and bolts, I went ahead and just got some new stuff to put on the doors. I'll use the factory ones on the hinges that go to the body. So when we get those on, those will be permanently on there. We're not taking those off. This door is actually going on the driver's fucking side. We're on the wrong side of the fucking car! Okay. Now, we're actually on the left side of the car, which happens to be the right side of the car, because we thought we had the right door that went to the right side of the car, but we actually had the left door that goes on the left side of the car, which is actually the side that we want to be on anyway, because this is where we need to find out if it lines up with the quarter panel that was replaced. So this would be the right side of the car that we need to be on. And these fucking doors are heavy. Don't let anybody fucking fool you. And another thing, this one doesn't even have the glass in it, and it weighs a fucking ton. So before we even hang the door, we gotta clean these threads out. I'm gonna take a little bit of WD-40 and just jizz it on there like that, and then I'll clean these threads out like I did on the door itself. Because you got to understand, these have primer in them, and gunk, and old grease, and this, that, and the other. And this is about the time you wish you had a second pair of hands to help hold the door in there, but I think I can get this by myself without any help. I need my pry bar. That I do need. So we're just going to gonna go ahead and stick it in the door jamb and hopefully try to latch it if we can. Just like that. Once that's latched, we should be able to come over here, line our hinges up using our pry bar as a lift between the door and the rocker panel. And then of course we'll use our knee to hold it, and then we should be able to bolt this thing on. Just like that. So we'll go ahead and line that up. Okay, hold on. Time. We'll take our screwdriver. Get one of the screw holes lined up on it. Take a bolt. Start that on there. Get another one to start out. Now remember, all these bolts are loose, so we don't know where it's going to end up yet. And then we're just going to kind of eyeball it out where we think it should be. Just nice and easy like. And then once we get it hung up, then we'll be able to shim it around to make sure that it's okay. And then once we get this hinge right here, once we get the hinges set on the body, we want to leave them there. We don't want to take them off. But in this case, I will have to take them off because I'll have to paint behind them. So I'm looking up here and I'm seeing that my gap looks pretty good. It looks even, it looks like it should be. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten those ones down. Okay, now that our door is hung good here, we're going to come down here and we are going to move our door around. You can notice I'm doing this to line up that fucking quarter panel. So if you look right here, you can see our gap is pretty fucking big. That's because the door's pushed too far that way, but we're not worried about that right now. What we are worried about is, do you see how the door moves back and forth? Now we know that it's double latched. Okay, and the rubber's not there, and I'm looking down and it looks like that quarter panel looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up where all the body lines line up really nice, and then we'll go ahead and move our hinge in, the hinge on the body in, to get a nice gap here. Okay, I noticed the bottom of the door is sticking out. That means our hinge at the bottom moved. Let me loosen that up, kick it back in a little bit. Alright, now that the door is hung on the car, we're going to come up here and we can see that the gap is super large. Let's hope that is not fucking how it's supposed to be, because that looks like shit. What we're going to do is we're going to come back in front of the door. I'm going to loosen these hinge bolts up. I'm going to push the door toward the quarter panel and make the gap smaller. Go ahead and do one hinge at a time. I don't want to do both hinges, and I'd rather move one hinge at a time than both of them, because if I move both of them, what will happen is the door will drop and we got a nice gap on the bottom. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll open the door up and I'll let the door drop, and then I'll tighten it once the door drops, and then once I get that tightened, I'll go ahead and loosen the bottom hinge, open the door and lift it up, and then I'll tighten it, and then that will bring our gap in. Okay, so if we can't get the door open, okay, it was locked. Okay, did you see how the door just dropped on us? Alright, you can see when I move the door, it moves up and down. So we're gonna go about half of that distance, And then we'll tighten up our hinge back here, and hopefully that will give us half the distance of what we need to get the door where it should be. So I'm gonna try to do this by myself. See if we can possibly get this done. So now if you look at the top of the door, you can see it's hanging down. And that's exactly what we want, because what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and take this hinge, the lower hinge, if you can look right there, we'll loosen those bolts up, and then we'll raise the door back up to match our body lines, and that will eliminate our big gap and pull it closer. See, the problem that you have with a lot of these aftermarket quarter panels is they usually leave too much of a big gap there. So when you hang your door back on it or what have you, and then you put your fender on, either the door has too big of a gap or the fender has too big of a gap, and you gotta compensate. So it takes time and nurturing to get this shit right. This is actually where we can use a third hand, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get our fucking floor jack. Now, I also want you to keep in mind that we have not changed out the hinge pins yet. We have not done that. The only thing we're doing is adjusting the doors, and then we will change the hinge pins out after the door has been adjusted on here. I know that sounds back-assward and all this other shit, but what I'm trying to do is eliminate taking that fucking hinge off. So I'm gonna jack the door up. Just a little bit of weight is all I want on it, just to hold it so it doesn't move. And then I'll go ahead and loosen these bolts up again. And then I'm gonna jack it up very slowly. And I kind of got an eyeball of where it's supposed to be. Just enough to where I think it should be. We're gonna go up just a hair more because of the weight. Remember what I fucking told you? All the weight's on the bottom of this fucking hinge. This is where all the weight's carried. Then we'll go ahead and tighten that up. Take our jack out. I don't know if you saw that, but it actually dropped about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. Take our jack out. Take our jack out. Then we'll shut our door. And I see now that our gap is real nice on the top, and we got a better gap right here, which looks more even and more Steven. Now we are gonna get a perfectly flawless gap on this due to the fact that, once again, this is an aftermarket quarter panel. But what we are gonna do is get a good enough gap where it's gonna be presentable. Now I also notice it's a little bit closer down here, and then it's close here, and then in the center here, it's a little bit thicker. So what we'll do is we'll come back, we're gonna do this bodywork right here, and as I'm checking out the door when it's latched, I also notice that the quarter panel in this area is sticking out just a little bit more than this, and I did some bodywork in this area right here. So I'll have to take my air file and air file that down to match the door itself. Our left door is hung and everything is looking pretty good on it. I gotta repeat my process on the right side. And once again, I'm gonna leave the hinges on the fucking car until I have to take them off. And when I do take them off to paint it, I'm gonna scribe a line around this so I know exactly where it fucking goes when I put them back on. It looks like maybe possibly this car might start looking like something and be a car that we can be proud of. Redoing all that body work, and I'm not just talking the car, I'm talking the doors, fenders, hood, the whole fucking 9 yards, has been a miserable fucking situation. But I am telling you that this little video set is something that you, okay, the person that's a lazy ass piece of shit should be watching. This is a perfect example that when you start something and you commit yourself to doing something in life, do you understand what I'm saying? When you tell somebody you're going to do something, when you commit yourself to saying, yes, I will do this, I will sell you that, I will fix this. Do you understand? You should stick to your fucking word, because let me tell you something. When you don't finish something for somebody else, not yourself, but for somebody else, you're fucking them around because you gave them your word you were going to do it. And karma is a fucking bitch. I'm going to tell you right now, what goes around comes around. And if you're that guy out there that fucked people around and didn't stick to your fucking word, believe me, in the end, you're going to fucking pay for it. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete. Feeling pretty good about the 72 Oldsmobile, or 71, or whatever fucking year it is. I don't know. And hopefully getting her done and doing it right. We'll be back. Of course we will. It's a never-ending fucking situation on the fucking Oldsmobile. Believe me, we're gonna find something else wrong with this cocksucker if I have to dig in there with a fucking air chisel and a hammer. Something else will be wrong.
Adios, amigos.